What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 44, and we're starting today's episode off here with a game against Bristol City away in the FA Cup round of 16, taking on the Championship side away at Ashton Gate for this FA Cup tie.
We've had a lot of transfer whispers, haven't we, about the goalkeeping position here, and there's a new man in between the posts today.
Yeah, and here is a keeper that likes to command his box. He's got good reaction, so I think he'd be a good addition.
And of course, in the last episode, the January transfer window ended with Watford. We signed a few players, 3 coming in on pre-contracts next season. The headline one being Mario Balotelli. Lloyd Isgrove and Joe Davis will also join next season on pre-contracts. We also signed Steven Gerrard's regen, and we also signed a regen of Gianlugi Buffon, who would make his first start for Watford in this game, taking on Bristol City away in the FA Cup. Usually, I would play Daniel Bentley. There's been no reason not to play him, but I thought Charities a new signing. He's 3 ratings higher. I want to give him a game. I want to give him his debut here, so I would decide to start the young Italian in goal here against Bristol City away from home at Ashton Gate in the FA Cup round of 16. The first chance would fall to us as well. Lewis Cook's shot going just wide, the post and behind for a goal kick, and in the 9th minute, Damari Gray gets himself inside to shoot, but Frank Fielding makes a really good save, and Charlie Austin can't control the ball at the far post, so still 0-0. Yet another chance in the 11th minute. Michael Keane's header well saved by Frankie Fielding. Austin then hits the post, but the flag was up for offside regardless, so it wouldn't have counted. So still 0-0 in this game, but all the early pressure coming from Watford. We wanted to set the tone in this game really early on, get as many chances on the board as possible, put the pressure on the Championship side, and show them we are here to get through with minimal ease. But it was still goalless. But in the 15th minute, Brendan Galloway gets a little bit lucky there, trying to reverse step over around his man after some nice passing. Got a little bit fortunate to beat the defender. Did whip the cross into the centre though, and in the centre, Charlie Austin heads in to make it Bristol City 0, Watford 1. Now, you saw in the January transfer window, I didn't actually have him on the transfer list, but Austin had a couple of bids, first from Torino, then from Mainz. We accepted both bids of £12 million and £13 million respectively for Austin, who hasn't really done the job for us this season since coming in on a pre-contract. He's on 60 grand a week. We've agreed to sign Balotelli next season. I've already said I wouldn't mind getting rid of Austin and already making a profit on the guy, but he says he wants to stay here. He doesn't want to relocate. He wants to prove his worth to the team, and that's now his 2nd goal in 2 starts for us. So maybe, just maybe, a little bit of tough love, showing him that his position is under threat here, is going to do the job for Charlie Austin. He goes pretty close there in the 22nd minute as well, and he does look a lot more lively now. So 2 goals in 2 games for Austin, does open the scoring here and make it Bristol City 0, Watford 1. Bristol City almost equalised with their first chance of the game here. This shot from range hitting the bar, and then Charities catching the rebound. So still 1-0 to Watford, but Bristol City finally trying to get themselves back in the game here, as they had a very poor start to this one. But in the 43rd minute, there was to be some sad news. We saw an injury to one of our players. Lewis Cook gets himself an injury after a bad challenge there, and eventually has to get subbed off. So you've already seen Buffon's regen starting this game. We'd now see Steven Gerrard's regen come off the bench to make his debut for Watford as well. We signed him from FC Dallas. He comes on for Lewis Cook, who gets an injury here. I think it's going to be a 3 or 4 week injury. You'll see confirmation after the game anyway. And Steven Gerrard's regen now enters the fray. Regardless of half-time, as you can see, we were playing better. Bristol City had hit the bar, but we'd had more possession, more shots, and of course the only goal of the game as well. In the 54th minute as well, just 9 minutes after the restart, a great chance to make it 2-0. Gerrard's regen almost getting his first assist for the club, playing through Charlie Austin, who was denied by a really good save by Frankie Fielding, and it was still 1-0. Who was playing quite well, Fielding, despite already conceding in this game. In the 79th minute though, Bristol City once again hit the bar for the 2nd time in the game, so very unlucky for them in this one, hitting the bar twice in the same game, but it was still 1-0 to Watford. And the final chance fell there. Obi Olari's header goes wide, the post and behind for a goal kick, but it was how the game would finish. Final score at Ashton Gate, Bristol City 0, Watford 1, so we are through to the FA Cup quarter-final. Really pleased with that as well. I felt we did play better. In the second half, Bristol City did come back into the game a little bit, but I still felt we were the better side. As you can see, Michael Keane was my player in the match, really solid at the back. Michael Keane as well, just a side note, he's been a really decent player for us in this Watford team. He really has been. Ever since he came in at the start of last season, he doesn't actually play too many games, or start too many games I should say, but whenever he does, he always plays quite well. So maybe next season deserves a bit more game time. He says after the game as well, he's happy to be selected for the team quite often too, so he's obviously quite a grateful player as well, not complaining that he doesn't get on the pitch as much as some players. But either way, Keane with another good performance there. But the most important thing was the team performance. We are through to the next round of the FA Cup. Delighted with that. And of course, after our disappointment in the Capital One Cup this season, I always say the Capital One Cup is my least of my aims, no matter what season I'm in with whatever team I'm managing. But we won it last season. I was hoping for a little bit of a better title defence. To go out on penalties to Leeds in the 3rd round, I think it was very disappointing at home as well. So in the FA Cup, I wanted us to make a mark this season, and to get to the quarterfinals, that's the stage we got to last season before being knocked out. Of course, we had those simulation problems last season, so you can give me the benefit of the doubt with that one. But either way, good to get through to the quarterfinals, and you never know, one more win, and we'll book a place in Wembley, at Wembley, I should say, for the semi-finals. Still, we take on PSV Eindhoven for the second of 3 games in today's episode here, away from home in the Netherlands, taking on the Dutch side for our round of 32 tie, first leg here in the Europa League. So our first season in Europe, we got out of our group really comfortably, 5 wins and 1 draw. It was a pretty easy group for us to top, which we did so with ease. So coming into this game here, the round of 32 stage, first leg against PSV Eindhoven, thought it would be a more difficult game for us. As you can see with the team out there, it was a pretty strong lineup. First couple of chances falling to us. First, Ryan Tyler's free kick hits the bar, and then Berghuis' shot was well saved by the goalkeeper before Deeney put the rebound wide. PSV had their first couple of chances late on in the first half. That shot going wide the post, and then in stoppage time of the first half, De Jong's header goes into the side netting and behind for a goal kick. And as you can see at half time as well, it was a pretty balanced game. We had one more shot and one more on target as well. PSV had a tiny bit more possession, but really a balanced first half, but it was still goalless. But in the second half, how about this from the PSV goalkeeper? What on earth is he doing here? Knows Ryan Tyler is going to intercept the ball as he tries to throw it to his fullback. Ryan Tyler tries to chip the goalkeeper, but sadly it hits the bar, and eventually Guardado gets the ball away. So what a lovely goal that would have been from Marco the Magician there. Sadly for us, though, he does hit the bar twice in this game, and it was still goalless. Of course, going for the golden boot in this competition, Ryan Tyler, after 4 goals in the group stage, but it was still 0-0. And when the final chances would fall here, once again, Ryan Tyler was a danger man in this game, going for goal in his 75th minute, but dragging the shot wide the post and behind for a goal kick. He was our most threatening player, though, twice hitting the bar and then putting that shot just wide the post. But it was still 0-0, and it was how the game would finish as well. A very disappointing goalless draw away in the Netherlands. You may look at it like this and say we've had 3 clean sheets in 3 games in all competitions, but the way I look at it is quite simple. We're away from home in the Europa League, and if you're a new subscriber to my channel, you'll be seeing me, or hearing me say this phrase, I should say, quite often during his career. My old subscribers will tell you this. I love away goals in European ties. I really do, because for me, they're really beneficial when you take the team back to your home in the second leg, you know, knowing that they'll have to score a goal if you got yourself a score draw, for example. So very disappointing not to score in that game after notching up 8 shots in total, but sadly only 2 on target. And you guys know, this season the big problem for me is that I just cannot score goals. Really ironic, but last season I was fantastic at scoring goals with any player that just wasn't very good at defending. This year I'm getting a lot of clean sheets on the ball, which is good, but not scoring enough goals, which is really frustrating. So a disappointing goalless draw, and 0-0 was the final score of that one. Of course, we'll still be fancying our chances in the second leg at Vicarage Road, but either way, just getting a goal in that game would have been really beneficial for us. So we take on Newcastle for the third and final game of today's episode here away at St James's Park. 12 games to go in the Premier League. We are sitting in 3rd place, and as things stand, are on course, touch wood, fingers crossed, to qualify for the Champions League come the end of the season. We need to keep getting the results though. First chance of this game fell early on. Loftus-Cheek's shot was well saved by Tim Krul, and then the header by Nathan Redmond from the corner hits the post before Newcastle got the ball away. Troy Deeney had the final chance of the first half, but his shot was simply saved by the Dutch goalkeeper, and as you can see at the break as well, it was still 0-0. We dominated possession 60% to 40%. Newcastle didn't notch up a single shot in the first half, but it was still goalless. And 19 minutes after the restart, well, how about this? Their first shot of the game results in the first goal of the game as well. Edin Dzeko, the Bosnian, gives the home side the lead in this game. And, I was really frustrated about this, because you heard me singing Michael Keane's praises a few moments ago, but I don't know what happened here. He seems to be watching the run of Dzeko, and then if you saw him there, he just runs forward and allows Dzeko the space. He's playing on one side as well to run through, latch onto the volley with no one near him and rifle it in. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic strike by Dzeko on the first time volley, plucks it out of the air. That was a really nice goal and everything, but why is my defender running forward there and not sticking up with Dzeko? Why is he just leaving him to run forward and have a free volley at goal? I wasn't controlling him or anything, and I just can't understand why he did that. It was just so stupid, and sadly for us, it does result in Newcastle getting the first goal of the game. Maybe I did something wrong there. I'm not too sure what it could have been exactly, but either way, Newcastle do open the scoring, and I don't know why Michael Keane, who's always been a solid defender for us, decided to do something so stupid. But it was still 1-0 to Newcastle. We had a good chance there, but that shot was simply saved by Krul, and then Cabela's effort was well stopped by Butland there with 6.5 minutes to go to keep us in the game. But sadly for us, it wouldn't matter. We did lose away at Newcastle, so once again we taste defeat in the league. That's now 2 defeats in our last 5 league games. Very frustrating indeed, because I actually thought we played better than Newcastle in this game. Dominated possession, had more shots, one more on target as well. Dzeko's attempts and that Kambela effort late on as well was pretty much the only thing they did in the game. But unfortunately for us, it doesn't matter. We do lose once again, and those are the games we just can't afford to slip up in with just 11 games to go if we do want to keep hold of a place in the top 4 come the end of the season. But that does end the episode, guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode, then please do leave a like, so that's much appreciated, and it really does help my channel out, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.